It's Tuesday, and that means Tuesday Treadmill Talk. I've kind of coined Tuesday being Treadmill Talk Tuesday. I've enjoyed doing this the last few weeks, so I think I'm going to keep going with it, walking on the treadmill and talking. So I enjoy it. I've been kind of thinking about like other things to do. I've been sharing a lot of reels and shorts on YouTube. I've created a couple of YouTube long videos. I've dabbled in TikTok now, and I have a Facebook page that I had created. The funny thing about Facebook is that I've had Facebook, like my own personal page, since, I don't know, 2004. And it's like easy to navigate, and I have no problems with Facebook. I enjoy using it and sort of sharing things. What I found with creating a Mama Messy Bun one is there's a lot more that they want you to do, like in terms of creating your page. So I've kind of like put that one sort of as like my last one to dabble with. I play around with it, I share some stuff to it, but I actually like the Facebook platform for my personal stuff, like my own personal page. Maybe I'm just not using it properly, I have no idea. But I've really enjoyed using Instagram. I think Instagram's been a lot of fun. I've dabbled with TikTok now, and I don't have all the same stuff up on TikTok like I do with Instagram. I have a lot more stuff on Instagram. That's really where I started everything. So a lot of stuff I have there, it's actually really super easy to use, and it's easy to put things together. I write and talk very extensively, so my Instagram stuff, I can write like a whole bunch of stuff. TikTok I find actually to be pretty similar in terms of like usability, like Instagram. YouTube is pretty simplistic. I find to make videos it's really easy. I don't like to edit my videos, so like what you see is what you get. I record and then I upload. The one thing I don't like too much about, well, the YouTube videos, I can put a longer caption, so I like that because I like to write a lot. With the YouTube shorts, the captions have to be really short, so it's not like something that I'm super privy to because I'm not a short writer. So that's been kind of weird to get used to. And the Facebook one, I've kind of put that one sort of like on the last of the things to upload. So I'm kind of just dabbling with it and playing around with it, but I've had a lot of fun with the sharing journey and playing around with it. I'm kind of thinking about like, what do I want to do next? Do I want to continue doing the same thing that I've been doing? Do I want to add? And I think, so I've always really enjoyed writing, and I've always wanted to be an author, and I can't figure out sort of which genre I want to go with. Do I want to go children's stories? Do I want to go nonfiction? I haven't really pinpointed what exactly I'd like to do. I have a lot of ideas, so I think honing in and trying to like do it has been really challenging. Just like this, you know, I've had the idea to do this, and I just kind of had to just jump into it and sort of give myself the permission to do it. And I think I kind of have to do the same thing with writing stories. I'm not sure what exactly I want to do yet, so maybe it'll come as I continue doing this and kind of have those creative juices flowing and whatnot, and maybe be able to go from there. But I think what I want to do to start writing is create a blog. What the blog is going to entail, I'm not entirely sure. I kind of have some ideas, so that might be in the works. You know, I'm on week 3 of sharing this journey, so I think I might give it like another week or so, another couple weeks, to still kind of share on social media and do these kind of things like videos and shorts and reels and whatnot. And then I think I might dabble into vlogging. And that will have a little bit more, it'll be easier for me to like write the things that I want to say, rather than trying to like chalk it up into a post. It's kind of hard to do that always, so I think I do a pretty good job of like getting what I want to say out there, but I have a lot more that I'd like to say, so I think vlogging would be like a good form of being able to do that. And then as far as these YouTube videos, I really like doing the Tuesday Treadmill Talks. I always have these ideas of like doing Monday Mindset, Tuesday Treadmill Talk, like something that has to go with like the day. So it's kind of like a weird thing that I think about, but it's not always easy to consistently do those things. So like, you know, if I have something planned, like I'm gonna do this every single week, I find that once I don't have the like creativity to do it for that week, it's like a bummer, and then I stop doing stuff like that. But what has stuck for me is the Tuesday Treadmill Talk, so I like that. It kind of just gives me an ability to walk and talk and then be able to put something out there, and kind of talk about the things that are on my mind. I don't have like an itinerary for my conversation and my video. I just kind of go with the flow and talk about whatever's on my mind. It's good for me because I have a lot on my mind all the time. I always talk to myself, so it's kind of nice to be able to get the things that are in my brain and the thoughts that are in my mind out into like the open, and have a place to like put those thoughts. So yeah, I don't really have anything. You know what, it kind of reminds me of Seinfeld, and how the episodes were really never written about anything. They were just kind of like, just go with the flow. And at least that's my understanding. I don't know too much about Seinfeld, but from my understanding, that's kind of what the idea of the whole show is. It's not really about anything in particular. It's just kind of goes with the flow. And I kind of feel like that's what I do here. I don't have an itinerary or anything really specific to talk about. I kind of just talk with nothing, to be honest, but it's a fun way to get things out of my brain and out in the open. Anyway, today's Tuesday, so today for my marathon training, it's a 3-mile run. So it's week 2 of my marathon training. It's an 18-week program, or 18-week training plan. I'm going to go for 19 weeks, so I'm going to double up on one of the weeks, because from when I started until when the race or when the run is in November, it's 19 weeks. So I'll make it a 19-week plan. It's by Hal Higdon. It's the Novice 1 program, or training plan, and so far so good. Saturday I was on vacation and we were at a little campground, really cute, in Sturbridge, Mass. And I say a lot, I know this. I used to take presentation classes or speech classes. I used to like to be up on stage a lot when I was younger, and I do remember being critiqued all the time for saying so I keep catching myself, because I remember back then they would be like, you say too much, or like, or all these placeholder words, and I catch myself and then I like get off track. But anyway, so like I lost my train of thought. Oh, so we were at the campground in Sturbridge. It was really cute. And I had intended that I was going to do my long run on Saturday. I had a 6-mile run, but when we got there, I scoped out the area, and it just did not seem like it was going to be feasible for me to be able to do a 6-mile outdoor run. So I had made the decision that Saturday was not going to be my long run. I was going to come home on Sunday and do my long run on Sunday, whether it was going to be outside or on the treadmill. I opted for the treadmill. And then yesterday, which was Monday, was supposed to be a rest day, but Sundays are usually cross-training days, So I made up my cross training day yesterday. So I didn't have a rest day so far. Friday will be my rest day. Today is week 2, day 2. So it's a 3-mile run. Tomorrow, which is Wednesday and Thursday, will also be 3-mile runs. Saturday, I believe, is a 7-mile run. And then next week, the shorter runs kind of bump up. I think there's a 3-mile and a 4-mile, or 2 4-miles. But either way, there's going to be a 4-mile in there somewhere. And then progressively each week it's going to climb. So the shorter runs are going to get longer. So, yeah, we went to the campground, and it was in Sturbridge, Mass. It was a Thousand Trails Campground. And I was watching a bunch of people, and actually on my Instagram, my personal Instagram, I follow a lot of people who are RV full-time living families. It was something that me and my husband talked about a lot. Let's just sell everything and go out on the road and explore. It sounds like an awesome idea. I just don't know that I could actually do that. But you never know. Never say never. So I follow a lot of people who do that, and I think it's awesome. And one family had talked about this Thousand Trails membership that they have, which basically means that they pay for this membership each year. I think for a camping membership it's like less than $800 for the year, and there's like over 125 campgrounds that you can go to, and there's stipulations. You have to stay so many days, or you can stay so many days. There's like a limit at each campground, and then you have to be out of the system for so many days, and then you can go back into like another campground and so on and so forth for the rest of the year. So that's the camping one, and you can do that for tent camping or RV or camper tenting. And then they have a cabin membership, which is like, I want to say like $1,700 or $1,800 a year. And same thing, you can go to all of their locations. The stay time is a little shorter. So where the camping one may be a week or 2 weeks at a time, the cabin is, let's say, 5 days. I have no idea because I don't have the membership brochure in front of me. I'm just making up numbers. But basically, the cabin stay is shorter. You're still out of the system for so many days until you can go back to another campground and then stay there for that so many days and so forth. We don't have a camper. We want to buy one. But for now, I said, let's just, you know, since I had heard about this Thousand Trails, and I was like, that's like a no-brainer for people who like to camp. It seems like a great opportunity, because if you do any camping ever, or if you like to explore and go anywhere ever and pay for hotels or campgrounds or whatever, they add up very quickly, especially if you like to go more than once or more than twice in a year. They can add up. Sometimes like your trip could be $700 or $800 just that 1 week or weekend. We went away a couple of months ago to New Jersey. We stayed at a hotel. Granted, it wasn't a campground, and we stayed for 2 nights, and it was like $750. So in my eyes, I'm like, instead of staying at a hotel, unless there's a hotel you want to go to, or there's not a campground in the area you want to go to, like if you can and want to go camping, like kind of just makes sense. So since I had heard about these people doing these Thousand Trails, I've been telling my husband, like, I really want to check it out. So there happened to be an event at the Stafford Springs Speedway in Stafford Springs, Connecticut, for Cleetus McFarland that my husband really wanted to go to. And it just so happened that there was a campground from Thousand Trails like within 20 minutes. So we were like, oh, let's just go. Connecticut is not very far from us. We were like, let's just make a little bit of a vacation out of it. This past Friday, my husband and I celebrated our 10-year dating anniversary. Yay! So we decided, let's take the kids and make like a little anniversary trip out of it. So we booked the Thousand Trails in Sturbridge, Mass. And we got there on Thursday night, and we went to the event on Friday night, or Friday afternoon, and into the night. So when we got to I'm gonna slow this down, I'm like out of breath. I have to do my 3 miles in a few minutes, but I'll continue talking until then. So when we got to Sturbridge on Thursday, we had checked in and the lady gave us our key. So we go down to the cabin. We're excited. It's cute. And we're starting to unload everything. And I opened the door and had this nasty smell come out of the house. It smelled like raw sewage. It was terrible. I mean, it hit me in the face. It was gross. So I was like, oh my God. My daughter was with me and she was like, oh my God, what's that smell? And immediately, as soon as you open the door, you could smell it like where the car was parked. So I said to my husband, like, what is that smell? And it literally smelled like septic system was backed up. So we're like, this is terrible. So we walked in the house. Oh my God, where's the smell coming from? Like, did somebody, I mean, it was putrid. So I was like, is there a backup of the toilet? I don't know if it's, you know, because it's an RV and campground, like, was there somebody dumping? And it just like was a backup nasty smell. Like, I had no idea, but couldn't smell it anywhere else in the campground. So we were like, couldn't figure out what it was. We were like, all right, let's just unpack. It was already kind of getting late. We were hungry. So we were like, let's just unpack our stuff, get everything out of the car. We'll run to Walmart and get some candles or something, Febreze, Lysol, whatever, just to try to mask some of the smell. Maybe the air was stagnant and maybe it just needed some movement in there. And we figured by the time we left and came back, we'd grab dinner, come back, get some candles going, and just figure it out from there. And we were like, we'll call the lady and tell her about the smell, like if it doesn't go away, and just kind of go from there. So we went to Walmart. We ended up grabbing dinner from BT's Smokehouse, also located in Sturbridge. Their food is awesome. Wicked, wicked good food. We ordered so much. I think our bill was like $130, $128, something like that. Well worth it. Every time we get barbecue, it's usually over $100. So it's not like its price was outrageous. But we ended up getting, what did we get? We got pulled pork, pulled brisket, chicken, hush puppies, onion rings. Their onion rings are so good. I think they're probably one of the better onion rings I've ever had. I love onion rings. These were phenomenal. What else did we get? I feel like we got some mac and cheese. Their mac and cheese was really good. And I think that was it. We have a barbecue spot here in Massachusetts that I absolutely love. And it's called Good Stuff Smokehouse. So anytime I have barbecue, I compare it to Good Stuff. I still say Good Stuff is my favorite. BT's was really good. I was very impressed. Their chicken was actually my favorite. I absolutely loved it. Usually brisket is like my favorite, or the pulled pork. This time it was the chicken. Like, I don't know if it's the seasonings or I don't know what it was specifically, but it was really good. And their onion rings were just so delicious. So anyway, they kind of screwed up our order a little bit, but I'll give it to them because their food was phenomenal. But basically they gave my order to a different person. That lady came back, realized my order was wrong, or her order was wrong. They gave the wrong order to her. No biggie, no harm, no foul. It happens. Life happens. It is what it is. I wasn't angry about it or anything. That's a really stupid thing to get mad about. So it is what it is. But their food was so fire. It was so good. Highly recommend. Anyway, oh, and they were supposed to give me some pickled onions. I heard the pickled onions were really good, but I didn't get any because they didn't have any in like their container, and they didn't throw any in the bag. But next time I go, I'm gonna have to, if I go again, if we're in the area, I'm gonna have to get pickled onions because I heard the pickled onions are really good from somebody who was standing and waiting for their dinner. So if you go and you happen to get their barbecue, try their pickled onions because apparently they're delicious. So anyway, we pick up our food finally and go back to the campground. We see the lady who we checked in with, and she was like crossing paths with us, and we were like, hey, by the way, there's like a really raw sewage smell back at our cabin. Not sure what it is, if it's like a backup or anything. She kind of looked at us like we're crazy, like what the heck, what are you talking about? So she drove down with us, and the girl, her name was Cece, she was very, very, very sweet. She opened the door, and she was like, immediately, she was like, that's propane. And I'm like, I never would have thought propane, because I never smelt propane to that effect, like ever. I've only ever used propane for our grills, and it never smelled like that. So she checked the stove, and sure enough, the knob was just turned enough that like the fumes were coming out. It wasn't actually lit, but like the fumes were coming out. So it must have been on long enough where the fume was coming out that it smelled like raw sewage, septic system backup, like nasty poo-poo. So word of advice that now I can spread to others is, if you smell something like that, don't immediately think that it's poo-poo or a septic system or sewage or nasty trash. Check the stove, because it could be that there is a leak coming out of the stove. So I can detect gas. I've smelled gas before, but never propane, and never not like that. So she was very concerned. She called maintenance right away. She told us absolutely nobody in the house. We do not want anyone in the house. She said, you know, feel free to eat your dinner outside, but we're going to try to see if there's another cabin available for you. We do not want you staying in this cabin. And then she basically said, you know, we'll give it 24 hours, and if tomorrow you guys want this cabin back, you know, you can always move from the other cabin and come back. We said, you know, we'll figure it out. But basically they had another cabin available for us, which was very nice. They comped us for the night, and then we moved ourselves into the other cabin, which was really cute. Very, very nice, 2 bedrooms. It had a, I'm not sure if it's a double or queen bed. Definitely not a king, which was tough because we have a king. And it had bunk beds, which was fun for the kids. They really enjoyed that. Really cute little cabin. So we ended up staying there, unloaded all of our stuff, finished eating our dinner, hung out with the kids, did our thing. It was already really late, so pretty quickly to bed. But yeah, the next day they ended up calling us and seeing if we wanted to go back to the other cabin or stay where we were. We decided to stay where we were, and we had a great time. It was a really cute place. Kind of like a smaller campground. I'm used to going up to campgrounds up in New Hampshire, so it definitely wasn't like the mountain New Hampshire kind of feel that you would get like going up north and into the mountains and like the fresh mountain air. It wasn't like that. Definitely, you know, being from the New England area, it definitely felt like, or being from the southern New England area, it felt like being in southern New England. But it was cute nonetheless. It's a cute place. They had a little pond, very, very small beach area. Kind of did like a little loop-de-loop. And a lot of it was like rocks. So like instead of there being pavement or dirt roads, it was like rocky. And towards the back of the campground was like a lot of uphill. So going back to my running on Saturday and doing a long run, it just wasn't feasible. Running on the rocks, super uncomfortable, and then going uphill, I am not that great at hill running, and they were like pretty steep hills. So I just was like, this isn't going to work for me. I didn't want to cause injury to myself. Maybe I was just making up excuses. That could be a part of it. But I decided that I wasn't going to be running on Saturday. And nonetheless, Friday, we ended up going to the Cleetus event over at Stafford Springs. It was so much fun. We had a blast. Met a bunch of people and talked to them and checked out the different vendors. Speedy Cop, he's really, really nice. Him and his wife were really cool to talk to. Mike Myers from Motorhead Garage Productions, he's a writer. He writes children's books. We met him down in Bradenton, Florida for another Cleetus event at the Freedom Factory that we had gone to not last November but the year before, and he was really nice, signed the books for the kids. So now we have 4 of his books, which is great, and the kids really like that. And then we ended up staying, watching some of the races, and We didn't stay for the whole thing because the kids were kind of getting spent after a couple of hours. There was supposed to be, or there was a really nice fireworks show. We didn't get to stay for it because the kids were just like, nope, we're not having it anymore. And then, so we just decided to leave since they were exhausted. On Saturday, we ended up staying at the campground, and Saturday, like Thursday and Friday, the campground felt really, really quiet. There was not a lot of action, not a lot of movement. I had no idea if anybody else was even there, aside from like one or two other families. But Saturday, everybody came out. So there were so many people, so many kids, and it was Christmas in July. That's what they had at the campground for that particular weekend. And it was really cute. So up at the rec hall, they have a wicked nice rec hall. I absolutely loved it. I loved the chairs. They had these chairs made out of like branches, and they were so cute. Their camp store was really adorable. They had a lot of cute little camping things, little things that maybe you need if you forgot them. Walmart was literally 7 minutes up the road, so anytime we needed something, we would just hop in the car and go to Walmart. But Saturday they had a lot of events, so we ended up going to cookie decorating. There was a movie at night. They did Santa Claus, so any parents who wanted to bring gifts for their kids and wrap them, they could, and hand them to the office in the morning before a certain time on Saturday, and then they handed out the gifts with Santa and the Grinch. It was really cute. We did a wagon ride with Santa and the Grinch. It was really, really cute. It was a lot of fun. The kids absolutely loved it. They had so much fun. And I thought it was really nice to have those events. Like, that's what I'm always looking for with campgrounds and just anywhere we go, stuff for the kids to do. I think it's a lot of fun. The kids make friends and they get to play with the kids and get to hang out, and I think that that's a lot of fun for them. And they have a mini golf. They have like a free mini golf section. They also have like a little track for RC cars, or monster trucks, the little ones like RC, you use with a remote control. So if you bring an RC car, and I heard somebody say something about maybe that they rent them there or they give them to the kids to use. I'm not entirely sure. We didn't use it. I did see some other kids using it though, and I believe those kids brought their own. But they had a mini golf area. It was cute. I think it was 9 holes, and it's free. They have like the balls and everything right there for you on the outside. You don't have to ask anybody for it. You just kind of go at your own leisure and use it, and it's really cute. Kind of old, like it's a campground, right? So expectations are not always super, super high for campgrounds. But maybe at some point, if they have some money or, some people who are willing to volunteer or something, like to maybe make the greens on the mini golf just a little bit more updated. They were kind of ripped and raggedy and torn. But again, it's a campground. Like, you're not looking for 5-star luxury, but when you do look at it, you're like, oh, they probably could spruce this up a little bit. Nonetheless, my watch is talking to me. I'm not used to it. So it was really cute. They did have a whole bunch of other buildings there, and I'm like, I wonder what they use these buildings for. So it seems like maybe with the right people, they could really spruce up the entire campground and utilize those other facilities for other things. Again, I was only there for one weekend, so it's not like I can give like a huge critique on it, because I have absolutely no idea what they do with those things or what their plans are. I'm just going based off of, like, I was one person who came in for the weekend and, decided to talk about my experience. But these are the things that I noticed, and whether or not they cares, really, it doesn't matter. But if they do, those are the things that I was like, oh, this could be utilized in a different way. But nonetheless, the staff was amazing. I met a lot of really, really nice families there. Lots of people who told me all about how they got into Thousand Trails. when they started going to Sturbridge, what other locations they've used, all sorts of great things. And I have to say, I went to one which was a smaller location, and everybody I spoke to even said, we've been coming here for 30-something years. This is what it used to be like. This is what it's like now. This is where it could be better, etc., etc. But ultimately, they have a great community, and they all really love being there, which I thought was a huge, awesome, a really cool thing, because you get to meet all of these people who are like, they literally all said the same exact thing. We've been here for so many years. It's generational. My kids came here when they were little. Now their kids come here when they're little, etc., etc. We've been coming here for 30-something years with our parents, and all sorts of stuff. Just hearing that and seeing that with my own eye, it just made me realize that like the Thousand Trails might be actually a really cool thing to get into. I think we want to check out one more before we decide actually to get into the membership. I think we want to check out Lake George, or one of them in the Cape. I don't know, there's a whole bunch of them that we really, really want to look at. There's some in New Hampshire, there's some in Maine, and this is all like really sort of close. This is all New England, and then they have so many down south and out on the West Coast, and I'm like, there are so many different locations that I'd love to get into. I also looked at their brochure, and something, I looked at some of the little icons, and it shows Thousand Trails, and also affiliated with KOAs, which KOAs are really nice also, and they have sometimes a little bit more location out in like the Midwest, where Thousand Trails doesn't look like they have so many campgrounds. So if they work in combination, it might be really cool in the event that we ever get a camper and decide to go cross country or anything like that. So something I'm definitely still looking into, but I was pleasantly, I was very happy with our experience with the Thousand Trails. I thought they were really nice. Cece was phenomenal. Kim, the manager over at Sturbridge, she was phenomenal. Very concerned about the situation with the first cabin and the propane. Very concerned, whether or not we were having a nice time. They were just very, very sweet. I met her husband and their family. It was very, very nice, very close-knit community, very sweet people, and it was a really cute campground, and I was very excited to be able to check out the Thousand Trails. So ultimately, it was a really fun time. And for somebody who didn't have anything to really discuss today, I made my Treadmill Tuesday talk pretty much about my little vacation this weekend to celebrate me and my husband's 10-year dating anniversary. Whoop whoop. But yeah, it looks like I have to get my run in now because I've already gone a little longer than I expected talking. But that's okay. That's what happens. That's who I am, and I talk a lot. So anyway, happy Treadmill Talk Tuesday.